Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Dear devotees of Chicago Kalibari, we are having the continuation of the lecture on the glory of the great goddess by Professor Subramaniam and Mrs. Vidya Subramaniam. Today is the fifth session, that one. And it will continue one more in session. I think it will conclude with the sixth session next Saturday. With this, let me hand over the mic to Professor Subramaniam and Mrs. Vidya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste to all. Welcome to session 5 on the glory of the great goddess Devi. As usual, we'll commence this session with our regular prayer. Om Gajananam Bhota Ganadi Sevitam Kapita Jambo Palasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Sloka Vinasa Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tastai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sri 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 Shantananda Avaduta Sadgurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parasakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parasakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parasakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om. Welcome to session 5. We continue talking about the glory of the great goddess Devi. As usual, we will just take a quick look at what we did in the past. The lessons which proceeded today. So in the previous sessions, starting from session 1, where we presented the glory of goddess in Devi Mahatmyam, one of the greatest scriptures on Devi. We had a quick session on that, highlighting some of the most important verses in Devi Mahatmyam, and followed by the next session, session 2, in which we describe the story of Lalita Devi's avataram and her glory with examples of Devi Upasakas. And we give highlights on Lalita Sahasranamam. The third session, we explained the glory of Tripura Sundari in Lalita Sahasranamam, again highlighting some of the key verses of Lalita Sahasranamam and its beauty. In the last session, we had some verses from Sri Adi Shankara's, one of the greatest epics called Saundarya Lahari, or the waves of beauty. All these are very large scriptures. They cannot be really covered within the short term available, but we provided you some of the highlights from each of these scriptures to explain the greatness of Devi as explained in the by various authors. In today's session, we continue and we're going to talk about the glory of Devi as goddess Mahalakshmi and Saraswati. So we continue with more work of Sri Adi Shankara on Devi. And one of the greatest compositions that he did, in fact, that's the first composition he did, was the Sri Kanakadhara Stotram. Many of you are aware of this Stotram. but may not be aware that it was his first composition as a young brahmachari when he was hardly 6 or 7 years old. And it is very popular, also called Kanakadhara Stone of Sri Sankara Bhagavad Pada. Before we go into the stotram, I'd like to give you a quick background of this stotram, how it happened, the circumstances which led to the composition of Kanakadhara Stotram, and the recitation, which is very extremely interesting. It was a stotram which was composed by young Adi Shankara, who was a brahmachari, and it was the practice for brahmachari to go and seek alms from various homes and use it for their own food. It's called bhiksha. And in the course of daily bhiksha around, the young Adi Shankara stood before a house and asked, Bhavati bhiksham dehi, please grant me alms. And the master of the house, who himself was away on the day, it was a Dwadashi day. Generally on Ekadashi day, they have the fasting. And Dwadashi day, they have little food. And perhaps the master of the house had gone to get some food. And the lady of the house came and she looked at the boy with a bright face, but she was so poor, she had nothing to give him. She felt so sad. And Adi Shankara, as you see in the picture, was having his bowl and seeking alms. So this lady went into her home, searched all round. She couldn't find any rice, nothing to give me except a small gooseberry fruit called amla. Amlaka. It is a ripe fruit, maybe overripe. In Tamil, we call it nelikai. In Hindi, we call amla. That was the only thing she had with her and nothing else. So she brought it and then offered that as a bhiksha to the young boy. Adi Shankara, he realized the poverty of the woman, took pity in her and said, I have to pray for the welfare of this woman, make her wealthy and remove her poverty. So he prayed. Very first prayer Adi Shankara was to Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth. And he composed this Kanakadhara Stotram in praise of Mahalakshmi, who eventually responded to the prayer and showered the golden fruits, Kanakadhara. Kanaka itself means gold and Dhara means rain, a shower of gold, and made her, that woman, a very wealthy person. So it is an example of Adi Shankara praying not for his own self, but for someone else. It shows the kind of attitude of his mind that he wanted to help humanity. And this is a prayer that he made. So we are going to cover not all the verses, but just only a few of the verses, the highlights of it. And as we go along, I'll also explain you the meaning and how beautifully this composition is and how effective it was at that time. So let's go through the very first slokam, the stotram, which starts from Angam Harehe. I'll ask Vidya to sing that.
Angam harehe pulaka bhushanamashrayanti Vringanganeva mukuladharanam tamalam Angīkrita kila vibhutirapanghalila Mangalyadastu mama mangala devataya.
Such a beautiful, very first verse. Actually, Adi Shankara, as a child, he describes Mahalakshmi in this stotram. Angam Harehe. Hare, everybody knows. Vishnu. She's in the Vishnu's body. She's actually in the heart of Vishnu. And in the body of Vishnu, Pulaka Bhushanam Asrayanti. Pulaka means such is, when you have extreme joy, you have the horripilation, all the hairs stand erect. So that is called Pulakam. Pulaka Bhushanam Asriyanti. She was Bhushanam Asriyanti, which means dwelling with the heart of Vishnu, and it is Mahalakshmi is shining. Bhushanam means it is an ornament. She's shining as an ornament on the body of Hari, who's Vishnu, with joy. And he gives an example how it is. Bringanganeva mukula baranam tamalam. Bringa means bees, The bees, they surround, they go around the buds, mukula baranam tamalam. Tamalam is the name of a tree, and the small buds, the bees go around joyfully, gleefully around those flower buds of the tamalam tree. So, Angikrita Akila Vibhodhira Pangalila is asking, within the body, Angi Akila, universal. It is the universal opulence, and with the divine Pangalila, it is the divine glance which is at play. They are looking at each other. Mangalya dastu mama mangala devataya. So he's asking Mahalakshmi, who is a Mangala Devata? She's auspicious. She's asking her to grant him happiness with just a divine glance, a divine glance. So the very first verse is describing Mahalakshmi as somebody who is shining as an ornament on the body of Vishnu with happiness, just as bees dwell around the buds of Tamalam tree, and asking or making an appeal to Mahalakshmi to grant him happiness with that divine auspicious glance. So he praises the deity and goes on in the second verse also with another description. The next verse.
Mugdhamuhodhidati vadane murare prematra prapranihitani gatani maladrishor madhukariva mahotpaleya same shriyam dishatu saghara sambhavaya.
Beautiful. Mugdha, it means delighted, absolutely delighted. Muhur Vidadati, always seeing whom? Vadane Murari, looking at the face of Murari. Murari is none else other than Vishnu. And Prematrapa Pranihitani, filled with kind of prema itself is love. It's a basheful love. She's looking at the face of Murari. And how it is, Gata Gatani. Gata means going and coming. It's oscillating sort of. The glances go on Murari's. Mala. Mala, everybody knows. It's a garland. And like the female beast, Madhukariva, Mahotpaleya. Mahotpale is the name of a flower. It's a white lily kind of flower. And the female bees go around that. And just as those go around, the Mahalakshmi's grace, our glances also go here and there. And Same Sriyam Dishatu Sagara Sambhavayaha. Sagara Sambhava. How did Mahalakshmi come? She came from the ocean. Sagara Sambhavayaha. So he says, the one who came from the ocean, Same Sriyam Dishatu. Please give me the fortune on me. Sriyam Dishatu. He is asking Mahalakshmi with the description, one who arose from the ocean and who is looking at the face of Murari, Vishnu, just as coming and going like the bees go around the Mahotpalam flower. So this is again a beautiful description of Mahalakshmi. And he wants to really please Mahalakshmi with this description so that he can make an appeal to make that poor woman wealthy. Going ahead, let's go to third verse.
Vishwamarendra pada vigramadhana daksham आनंद हेतुरधिकं मुरविद्विषोऽभि ईशन्निशीशितुमयि क्षणमीक्षणार्धम् इन्दीवरोदर सहोदरमिन्दिरायाः
Amarendra Padavi. Amarendra Padavi is the position of Indra. So Mahalakshmi is capable of granting you the position or Padavi of Indra. And then the next line says, Ananda Dehar Adhikam, causing abundant joy. To whom? To Muravid Vishodhi. Actually, here it means enemy of Mura, who was an Asuran. But it refers to Murari, refers to Vishnu, causing abundant joy to Vishnu. And Ishan Nishidatu Mayi Chanami Charnartham. The slight glance, it's a kind of a Kadakan, they say. It's a slight glance. Chanami Charnartham. This is second, within seconds, capable of causing great joy in just seconds. It's quickly. Chanam means Chanami Chanartham. Indi Varodara Sagodara Mindiraya. That is one who is born with the lotus. Sahodara Mindiraya. She was born with the blossoming lotus, the beauty. Mahalakshmi associated with lotus. So that Mahalakshmi, who is capable of granting even the Indra's position and causing abundant joy to Murari, may that Mahalakshmi, who was born with the lotus, cast a slight glance on me for a moment with just half closed eyes. You can say just the side glance, not fully, Kadaikan Parvai. And Sankara is appealing to Mahalakshmi in this stotram to give him a side glance. Going further, the fourth slokam.
आमीकिताक्षमधिगम्य मुक्ता मुकुन्दम् आनन्दकन्दमनिशमनेकतन्त्रम् आकेकरस्थितकनीनिकपश्मनेत्रम् बुद्धि भवेन्मम भुजङ्गशयाङ्गनायाः.
Beautiful. Amilita. Again, it is referring to half-closed eyes. Like, when people sit in dhyanam, they don't close their eyes completely, nor do they open the eyes. It is kind of half-closed eyes. The dhyanam will be there. At the same time, they are aware what is happening outside. So here, with half-closed eyes, Muda Mukundam, one who gives Mukundam is Mukundan, who gives moksham. That's why Vishnu is called Mukunda. Muda Mukundam, one who gives mukti, and she captures, with that half eye closed, she captures the attention. Ananda Kanda Aminesha Ananga Tantram. Ananga, Anga, Ananga. Anga means body. Ananga means no body. Whom does it refer to? It refers to Manmatha. You know the story that Manmatha was burnt to ashes when he tried to lure Shiva, when he was doing the penance, and they wanted Shiva to meet with Parvati so that they get a progeny who will destroy the Rakshasas. At that time, Manmatha was sent as an emissary to cause kama or desire within the mind of Shiva, and when Shiva opened his third eye, he was burned to ashes. So he became Ananga, that is one who is without body. So in this case, Ananga Tantram means it is the technique of Manmatha. So in this case, the prayers are to Mahalakshmi, whose eyes are partially open and whose this eyes capture Mukunda with joy, and whose eyes show love, Ananda Kandam. animation. So this corner of the eye, the Amba, the Mahalakshmi, she is trying to glance at Vishnu with joy, just as a technique used by Ananga Tantra. So this appeal here is to Mahalakshmi, made by Adi Shankara, that may that ray of glance from her come to me. Bhute Bhavayan Mama, Bhujanga Sayanaya. Who is Bhujanga? Bhujanga means big snake. Bhujanga Sayana is referring to Lord Vishnu. So, one who is the spouse of Bhujanga Sayana, Vishnu, let her come and cast her glance, Bhutai Bhavayan Mama. Let that corner of the eye, let the ray of glance come to me. So this is a description of a poet of how he is appealing to Ambal with all the adjectives and her qualities coming in this. Going further, now I want to say about these are the appeals being made by Adi Shankara to please Mahalakshmi and to make an appeal to her to provide wealth to that poor woman. But Mahalakshmi does not agree to Shankara's request. She says, I cannot grant your request because this couple have had a bad karma in their past birth. Therefore, I am not able to grant you your request. But Shankara doesn't let go. She starts appealing to her. And the next slokam we are going to see is going to be a very, very powerful appeal coming from Adi Shankara to Mahalakshmi. And this is coming in the verse 8 here.
Adhyatyayano pavano dravinaambudhara asminna kinchana vihanka shishau vishanne dushkarma karma mapaniya shiraya dhuram narayana pranayini nayanambuvaha.
It's a key verse which actually makes Mahalakshmi change her heart. Dadhyad Dayanu Pavano. Dadhyad itself means bestow. Pavanam means, breeze. Dayanu Pavano. Daya is mercy. It's a breeze of mercy. Dravinam Budharam. Dravinam itself is wealth. Ambudharam. Ambu refers to water. Dharam is holding. What is holding the water? It's a cloud. The cloud holding the water and then it pours like rain. So here it is referring to the clouds which bear the water. They shower, and likewise, Dravinambudharam, shower wealth. On whom? Aspin akinchana vihanga sishau vishanne. Aspin, this. Akinchana means very poor, having nothing really. Such a destitute woman. Vihanga Sishau. Vihanga is referring to a bird. And Sishau is a fledgling bird. She compares this woman to a fledgling bird. There is a bird called Chataka Pakshi. This is supposed to be a bird with a hole in the throat. When it cannot drink water normally, if it drinks, it will come out through the throat. Therefore, this particular bird, it keeps looking up towards the sky for the rain. In summer, it's hot, and then it's looking for the rain. When the rain falls, it will go through the hole, and then it will be the food for the Pakshi, Sadaka Pakshi. So he compares this woman to that Vihanga Sishau. It's a small fledgling bird which is looking for the little water. Likewise, this woman has got nothing, and Vishanne is suffering. She's suffering without any money. So, dushkarma dharmam apaniya chiraya duram. Dushkarma is the past karmas, bad karmas which has put her in that kind of position. So, Durkama Brahma apaniya chiraya duram. Please drive away, remove all the dushkarma by a little glance from you. If you can do so much with a glance on Murari and Vishnu, why can't the glance just drive away her past karmas? Narayana pranayini nayanam bhuvakaha. So objective here of Adi Shankara is twofold. One is to remove all the dushkarmas of this couple just by a glance from Mahalakshmi. And the second is to shower them with wealth, Dravinam Budharam. So he is actually looking for the wind of mercy, or the breeze of mercy of Mahalakshmi, who is the beloved of Narayana Pranini, Narayana, who is the beloved of Sri Narayana, and let her drive away the sins of this couple with her glance and shower, just like the cloud showering water, rain, shower Dravinambudaram with wealth. And that is what is making a very strong appeal to Mahalakshmi. You see, Mahalakshmi is moved beyond words. Once she listens to this particular slokam, she showers gold coins. That is why it's called Kanakadhara. She showers gold coins, making the couple wealthy. And you see in the picture, the gold coin showered, and young Shankara is just looking wonderstruck. He is so grateful to Mahalakshmi for having showered this gold on that. And we go to the next slokam, which is a gentle slokam, verse 13.
Sampatkaraani sakhalendriya naganani samrajyadhana vibhavani sarorupakshi vadbandhanani durita paranodhyadani mameva matarani shaukalayatu manye.
This is the general slokam for all. Sampat Karani. Sampat itself means we have Sampat watching this program. Sampat itself means prosperity, wealth. Sampat Karani, one who is the cause of prosperity. Who is that? Mahalakshmi. Sakalendriya Nandanani. She is a joy to all senses. Indriyam. Sakalendriya, all the senses, she is a joy. Samrajya Dhana Vibhavani. One who holds the power to grant you kingdoms. Saroruhakshi, lotus-eyed. See, lotus is associated with Mahalakshmi. You can see in the picture. She's sitting on lotus, she's holding the lotus. And Tvat Dandanani Durito Harana Udditani. Actually, it should be split into Durita Harana Udyatani. The correct will be, when you put it in Santi together, Durito Harano Dyatani. Tvat Nandanani, singing your praises. Durida Chayadvara, you know, when you do Sankalpam, you say, Durida Chayadvara, you say. Duritam refers to the difficulties, the troubles we have. So here, Durita Harana Udyatani. So, removing all the obstacles. Mameva Madra Anisham Kalayantu Manye. So, always, Anisham means always, Kalayantu Manye. May I be always blessed to sing your glories. So, here, Adi Shankara is praying to Lakshmi, saying, to the one whose lotus-eyed, Saroruhakshi, who is the cause of all Sampat Karani, all prosperity, and Sakalendra Nandanani, who is the great joy to all the senses, she with the lotus eye was a power to give you kingdoms, samrajyams, and singing your glories removes all difficulties, miseries, and the sins in our life. Mother, may I be Mam Eva, May I be always blessed to serve you, always Anisam Kalayantu Manye, and sing your glories. So again, he is seeking the blessings of Mahalakshmi with all the descriptions connected with it. Now, this is a great slokam which everybody should really, even if you can't recite the entire stotram, this is a key stotram which gives a lot of blessing. The message here is, if we too recite that Kanakadara Stavam with devotion, we shall be relieved of our sufferings and poverty, affliction, sins, and blessed with a lot of wealth. One should get the grace of Mahalakshmi to make sure that we get all the wealth and accompanying pleasures. So, what is the use of just money alone? We also need knowledge. So, there is also Saraswati coming in later. So, Ambal, who thinks this ignorant child is praying only for wealth. But what is it without knowledge? You need artha, wealth, but it will be anartha if it is not accompanied with education and knowledge. So later on, we will come to Saraswati also. But before that, I want to say something about Mahalakshmi. This is Lakshmi, and there is a difference between the two. And this is a picture of Ashtadasa Bhuja Mahalakshmi seen with 18 arms. Ashtadasam means 18. Bhuja means arms. Now, this is the effulgence of all deities. This is one installed at my Guru's ashramam in Salem, Om Sri Skandashramam in Salem, India, one of the most beautiful places on a hillock. And here you can find Mahalakshmi. And Mahalakshmi is different from Lakshmi. How? Lakshmi is associated with Laksh means goal or something to investigate. So this is different because this is much larger. Mahalakshmi is effulgence of all major deities, and the idea here is that she's got all the weaponry like Durga. Like you have Durga, she has all the weaponry. Mahalakshmi Durga, it is called. Ashtadasa Bhuja Mahalakshmi Durga. So here it is in the form of a Durga. You can see the lion here in the picture, whereas normal Lakshmi you will find it with lotus. So in this case, the Lakshmi, which means to observe or perceive or to have an aim or goal objectives, it is synonymous with wealth, and it is the goddess whose goddess achieving various goals. But Ashtadasa Mahalakshmi is something different. Mahalakshmi itself, Maha itself refers to great. And this greatness is personified by an effulgence of all deities, like we saw in Durga, the Devi Mahatmyam. She bears all the weapons in her hands and has 18 arms and has a lion. So that is the difference. And Shri is the name which is very popular. Shri, we all write is the prefix to Sri or Srimati. And just as the word, the letter Om is associated with the mystical side of life, the word Sri is associated with the material side of our existence. So Lakshmi is associated with lotus, and she gets the name as Pankajam, born out of muddy water. Pankajam, Ajam means one is born. Pankam means muddy water. One who is coming up from muddy water, that is the name for the lotus. A symbol of what we are as human beings. We're part of the world, within the world, which has got a lot of pollution. We should be coming out clean, pure and clean, like the lotus from a muddy water. So there is a synonymous between Lakshmi, Pankajam, and human beings here. So there is a difference between Lakshmi and Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi associated with lotus and aim and perception. Mahalakshmi associated with the effulgence of all these deities, much like Durga. And worship of the mother goddess is a tradition which we have been following for thousands of years. And Lakshmi is addressed as Mata instead of just Devi. If you go to Vishnu temples, Perumal temples, we always say Tayar Sannadhi. Tayar means mother. So mother Sannadhi. Whereas in Shiva temples, it's addressed as Amba, Ambal Sannadhi. So there is a difference between the Devi as constituted in Shiva temples and also in Vishnu temples. In Vishnu temples, we call her Mother. And Mother is the name given to Lakshmi and Mahalakshmi. So for a balanced life, we really need both of them. So there is a beautiful Gayatri slogan, which is very popular. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu patni ta jimahi tanno Lakshmi prajotayat. This is a Gayatri mantra for goddess Lakshmi. And each and every major deity in Hindu mythology has their own Gayatri mantra, and this Gayatri mantra is something which we should practice every day. This is maybe meditate on the great goddess of Mahalakshmi, the consort of Mahavishnu. May that effulgent Mahalakshmi inspire us, illuminate us, our mind and our understanding. So that is the meaning of the great Gayatri, Lakshmi Gayatri, Mahalakshmi Gayatri. So going further, we are now coming to the Saraswati part of it. Now, for a balanced and happy life, we need both wealth and also education, knowledge. Wealth is administered and granted by Mahalakshmi or Lakshmi. And for education, it is well known that it is Goddess Saraswati, who is the one who nourishes the mind and who gives us the knowledge, and who is also the goddess of various arts, fine arts. She holds a veena in her hand, wears a white dress, and she's the one who gives us. So every school, they start with the Saraswati to educate us. In starting itself, we pray to Saraswati. And in Navaratri also, we have this same scheme of Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. The first 3 days denoted to Durga, Lakshmi, and then later on to Saraswati, ultimately having the Vijayadashami day. So this Saraswati, there is a history how we came about from Adi Shankara. Now, Adi Shankara has written a number of plays and is also established the great philosophy of Advaitam. At one time during his life, there were different factions. In fact, 72 factions when he was there. And he did his level best to synthesize them into 6 main branches of Hinduism. Shanmatastapakam, as they call it. He established 6 different paths. And in doing so, he met with a lot of people who were scholars who were following their own philosophy. And one was called Mimamsam. Mimamsam was one branch which did not really look into God as the ultimate authority. They looked into the Vedas. They were investigative. Mimamsam itself is investigation, research, or inquiry. They believed Vedas were the most powerful, and bhakti to God was not really required. The Vedas themselves decide the effects for a particular person. And it was a person by name Kumarila Bhattar who started spreading that, and his Sishya was Mandana Mishra. And Mandana Mishra, actually, Adi Shankara met Kumarila Bhattar, but Kumarila Bhattar he was actually burning in husk because he went into Buddhism to learn about Buddhism, but having been pushed out of Buddhism, he was thrown out because they detected he was not a Buddhist really, and he was atoning for his sins, and he was burning in husk. When Adi Shankara met him to have a vadam or discussion with him, and Kumarila Bhatta told him, you go to my Shishya Mandana Mishra, who will be able to listen to you and have a discussion with you. So Adi Shankara, he went to meet Mandana Mishra, whose wife was Udaya Bharati, and Mishra's Patni, who was incarnation of Saraswati herself. So they have a discussion, a long discussion between Adi Shankara and Mandana Mishra, and Udaya Bharati was really the judge for the discussion. So she gives a garland to each of them, and they say whichever garland fades first, they will be the loser. And it goes on for 18 days, the discussion. When Mandana Mishra's garland started fading, so he was a loser. And they eventually, Adi Shankara becomes a winner. I'm not going into the details, but basically, the point is that after Adi Shankara won over Mandana Mishra, both Mishra and Udaya Bharati, they follow him. They both start traveling towards the south. And as they travel, Udaya Bharati has a condition for Adi Shankara. She says, you should not look back. If you look back, I will stop at that place. So Adi Shankara agrees to that condition. They travel southwards, and a particular point where there was a confluence of two rivers, Tunga and Bhadra, Adi Shankara, he was listening to the anklets sounding from Udaya Bharati. She was following him. Suddenly that sound stopped, the bell sound from the anklet. So when the sound stopped, Adi Shankara looks back. And at that spot, Udaya Bharati just stood. So she was an avataram of Saraswati. So Adi Shankara establishes her as Saraswati at that spot. It is presumed that it is the place where it is Sringeri, where Saraswati herself is established as Sharada Devi. There is a beautiful song on Saraswati here, and I'd like Vidya to sing that song. It's a beautiful song in praise of Saraswati.
Mahadevyai, Mahakalyai, Mahalakshmi Namo Namaha. Brahma Vishnu Shivayai Cha, Brahma Naryai Namo Namaha. Saraswati Nalde Pudu Sallaga Judavoma. 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 Saraswati. Varavina, Varavina, Pusakamula Varavina, Pusakamula Varavina, Pusakamula Vadaragadari Iljina Shri Varavina, ಪುಸ್ತಕಮೂಲವದಲಗದರಿ ಇಲ್ಚಿನ ಶ್ರೀಗಾಮ ಪದವ ಮಗ ಗರಿ ಧರಿ ಸರಿ ಧರಿ ಗರಿ ಗ ನಿಗರಿ ಗಾರಿ ಗ ಪಮಗ ರಿ ಗ ದಪ ಮಗರಿ ಗ ಮ ಪದ ಪ ದಪ ಮಗ ಮ ಪದ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ಗ ಮ ಪದ ನಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ರಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ಗರಿ ಮ ಗರಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ಪಗ ಗರಿ ಸರ ಸ್ವತಿ ನಲ್ಲೆ ಪೂಡು ಸಲ್ಲಗ ಜೂಡಯ ಮಾಸರ ಸ್ವತಿ ನೀದುವಾಗುವಲನ ನಿಖಿಲ ಲೋಕಮೂಲಕ್ಕೂ ವೇದ ವೇದಾಂತ ಮೂಲ ನೋಸಕಿ ಬ್ರೋಜಿತಿವಿ ನಾದು ಮನ ಮುನೇ ಪುಡು ನಿಲಚಿ ಘಾದುವನು ಸುನಿ ಪಾದಮೂಲ ನೌಮಿತಿನಿ ಗೋಪಾಲ ದಾಸ ಬೋಷಕಿ ಕನ್ನೋ ಗಮ್ಮ ಪದ ಮಗ ಗರಿ ಗರಿ ಸನಿ ಧನಿ ಸಗರಿ ಗ ನಿಗರಿ ಗಾರಿ ಗ ಪಮ ಗರಿ ಗ ದಪ ಮಗರಿ ಗ ಮ ಪದ ಪ ದಪ ಮಗ ಮ ಪದ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ಗ ಮ ಪದ ನಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ದ ನಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ರಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ಗರಿ ಮ ಗರಿ ಸ ನಿ ದ ಪಗ ಗರಿ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ನಾನೇ ಪೂಡು ಸಲ್ಲಗ ಜೂಡ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ನಾನೇ ಪೂಡು.
Very good. It's a wonderful composition by Veena Kuppayar. Veena Kuppayar, also a disciple of Tiruvatiyur Tyagaya. It's a Telugu song. Many of these are in Telugu, set in the Raga Kalyani. Like to give you the meaning of this song for those who do not know Telugu. At least we should know what this song is about. It is about Saraswati. It says, Saraswati, nanne ippudu, look upon me, Judavamma, with kindness. It's asking Saraswati to look upon me always with kindness. Varaveena, Saraswati has the veena in her hand and also a book, Pustakamulu. Varaveena Pustakamulu. You are always adorned or decorated with the veena and the books. It's an exemplary veena. Beautiful. You can see in the picture, she's holding the veena. And in the charanam, it says, Needu Vaku Valano. Vak is speech. By your speech and vocalizations, you have given Nikila Lokamulugu to the entire world. Veda Vedantamulu. You have given the Vedas, the scriptures of Vedas. And Vedantam, which is a philosophy, Veda philosophy to mankind. And it says, Manamu Nanne Pudu. Oh, the mudra here for the song is Gopala Dasa. So it says, Gopala Dasa, please protect me. Gopala Dasa, I trust your feet, Charanamulu. I always trust your feet to protect me. So that is the gist of this song on the prayer to Saraswati. So first we saw about Lakshmi and Mahalakshmi and her grace to the woman who was very poor and how she got the Kanakadara. How Mahalakshmi, the one who gives us all the wealth. And later on, Azaditandra establishes Saraswati Sarada in Sringeri. The knowledge, storehouse of knowledge, is also required for us for our education and understanding Vedas and philosophies. So there is a very popular slokam. We would like to conclude with that slokam, which people, children, they should learn. And it is also a very simple one. I'm going to recite that slokam here. Ya kundendu dushara hara damla, ya subravastravita, ya veena maradanda mandita kara, ya sveta padmasana, ya brahmastuta sankara prabhudevi, devi sada pujita, samam padu saraswati bhagavati, nisheshitatyabhaka. This is a very, very popular stotram, simple stotram, which even children can learn very easily. This is one of the slokams I learned as a child. And it is meaning, may God Saraswati, Ya Subra Vastravata, who's wearing the pure white garments, who's fair like jasmine colored moon, and who are adorned in radiant white garments, on whose arms rest Veena, Yaveena, Varadanda Manditakara, Asveta Padmasana. Svetam itself is white, whose throne is white lotus, who is surrounded by all the gods. Ya Brahmastuta Shankara Prabhudir, surrounded by all gods, including Shankara, Prabhudir. Devehi Sada Pujita, who is always worshipped by the Devas. Samam Padu Saraswati Bhagavati Nischesha Jatyabaha. May you fully remove my lethargy, my sluggishness, and my ignorance. So this is a prayer which is recited in many homes every day. And I'd like to encourage devotees of Chicago Kalibari Sangh to not only recite this, also teach to your children so that they get the Saraswati Kataksham along with the wealth blessed by Mahalakshmi by saying the Mahalakshmi Gayatri Mantram. These two mantrams are very important mantrams, and I'd like to encourage the devotees of Chicago Kalibari to not only recite but also teach their own children.
Saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupini vidyarambam karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada.
So with that, we would like to conclude this session 5 on the glory of the great goddess Devi. The next session, which will be the concluding session number 6, will be on next Saturday, same time, 5 p.m. CST. Stay tuned. Until then, I offer my namaskarams to all the viewers of this video. Thank you very much. Namaskaram.
Hello, Chicago Kalibari devotees. Thanks a lot for listening. And thank you again, Professor Subramaniam and Ms. Vidya for bringing this beautifully. All the elements of, that one Devi is, that one. All the three of them, starting with Durga or Kali or Parvati or Shakti, and then with Mahalakshmi, and then Saraswati, Though the three are three characteristics of the same kind of a goddess, but the three are not totally independent, they are totally kind of an interdependent on one another. Also in our life, we need all the three elements in our kind of a life for us to carry on our life in this earth, from day one to the end. We need all the three. We need the courage, and we need, of course, the wealth, and also we need the education or the knowledge. One without the other is going to be very difficult to kind of independently manage it. A balanced life, for that you need all the three elements of it. And the three Devis are all the symbolic representations of all the three characteristics what we need to possess. And in our temple at Kalibari, in our kind of a Durga Parivar, we have all the three gods. You know, we got the Ganesha, then Mahalakshmi, then Durga, then then what you call Saraswati, and then Skanda and all, you know, that one. And again, he referred to the Saraswati sloka, Yakundendu, you know. In Kalibari, we recently started a Vedic school run by our friend, you know, Kudalur Kumar, going to teach the basic slokas, you know, some of the very important slokas like Kundendu, Lakshmi Sostra and all, and also a little bit of a Vedic chanting and also Rudram, you know. We just started, you know, the first session started last week. We have 28 kids registered for that and they have been attending. And we expect the registration to grow up, you know, as we go along, you know. And so we are very conscious and a progressive kind of a temple it is. And Sanatana Dharma is our main goal. It is to propagate it to our younger generation, you know. And again, we are looking forward for your lecture the next Saturday at the same time. Thank you again. Thank you both.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Session.